Hello again everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. It is the weekend, so normally I'm giving myself a bit of a break from covering stocks and markets and stuff, but this event is too big for me not to speak about. So this video is a special one-off given what I've uncovered regarding ACDC predicting the 6.0 on the Richter scale earthquake this past week in Melbourne, and I believe it is very much a case of you heard it here first. So it has become a thing of internet legend at how many future events have been predicted by the TV show The Simpsons. Well, the four-fingered yellow cartoon characters may not be the only prophetic forces going around these days. That is because Aussie rockers ACDC seem to have actually predicted an event all the way back in 1985 that occurred just this week. And amazingly, the prediction has played out in a city that has a street named after the band, ACDC Lane, and was also the location of several iconic video clips for the band. Of particular note is the song It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll, where the band play the song while riding down the street in a flatbed truck. Very iconic. Anyway, that city of course being Melbourne. So obviously, as indicated by the title of this video, Melbourne experienced a very uncharacteristic earthquake on Wednesday the 22nd of September that registered between 5.8 and 6 on the Richter scale. The actual epicenter of the earthquake was around a town called Mansfield, which is about a 2-hour drive from Melbourne CBD, and it was a shallow earthquake occurring approximately 10 kilometers below the surface. Technicals aside, thankfully nobody was hurt from this. A few things toppled over and Aussies did what they do best. Instead of taking in the seriousness of what happened, they began taking the piss out of the situation, as evidenced by the array of memes that began popping up even before the first aftershock occurred about 10 minutes later. Now, jokes aside, there was one location that did have some serious damage and was the focal point for basically all the coverage and media scenes around the event. That was of course the Betty's Burgers restaurant that is located on Chapel Street in Windsor, though it was commonly reported as being in South Yarra. This seems to be the only example of a building being significantly damaged from the earthquake, so all in all it was a fairly lucky result for the city of 5 million and the greater state of Victoria. So to understand how ACDC predicted the earthquake, it would take a big fan of the band to pick up on this. And well, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what I am. A huge Acca Dacca tragic. Anyone who meets me works this out, usually within a short period of time, as they come to see that the band and the culture associated with them is very close to my heart. And I think it took an ACDC tragic to be able to pick up on this. Just to give you a bit of a taste of some of my credentials, this top picture is of me and my mates about to attend our first ACDC concert in Sydney back in 2010. The shot below is after we had a bit of a wild night there. Fun fact, we all are wearing our old school uniforms, which is particularly fitting as we actually all attended the same high school as the band's two founding guitarists, Angus and Malcolm Young. Also on screen, we have in the bottom left corner a photo of my wife and I celebrating our 2-year wedding anniversary, also known as the Con Anniversary. And for that to celebrate, we purchased ACDC shirts because they were made out of cotton. And finally, to let you in on a little superstition of mine, this white ACDC shirt you see me wearing on the right hand side of the screen, I've worn every time I've signed a property contract. So now that we've established my expertise and fandom in such matters, let's push on with how ACDC has showcased talent that would make seekers of the Delphic Oracle proud. So to understand how ACDC predicted the Victorian earthquake, you need to go back to an album that they released in 1985 called Fly on the Wall, a release that dates a whole 7 years before Miley Cyrus was born, if there was ever any wonder for who made who. So this 1985 album was not a huge success for the band. After a really good run of records with Highway to Hell, Back in Black, For Those About to Rock, and to a lesser extent Flick of the Switch, Fly on the Wall was generally not a strong album critically for the band. But I will admit that I actually loved the energy throughout the album, but I am a tragic. Anyway, this album was released in the time when MTV and music videos for songs were really blowing up and musical artists had started to make artistic videos rather than relying on footage of them playing as a band for visual depictions of their performances. And ACDC, perhaps in an attempt to push boundaries, they decided they were going to turn half of the Fly on the Wall album into a mini-movie of sorts, where a story is told to 5 of the album's songs. It was novel and unique, and unfortunately for the band at the time, quite forgettable, perhaps largely due to the poor reception the album received. That is until now, of course. So the mini-movie is basically a series of subplots vaguely related to the themes of the songs that the band plays inside a tacky ballroom-styled venue located across from the Brooklyn Bridge. The movie starts off with the tracks Fly on the Wall, Danger, Sink the Pink, and Stand Up. By the time the 4th track has finished, the ballroom has really picked up in atmosphere from a bored crowd to one that is really rocking and partying hard. Then comes the last track of the movie by the band, aptly named Shake Your Foundations. Shake Your Foundations is very much the climax of the mini-movie. The title and chorus throughout the song even suggest seismic activity. And in this part of the clip, basically the whole ballroom collapses around the band while they are playing, giving off the message that the band rocks so hard that in regards to the venue, they I-E-I-O, shake your foundations, I-E-I-O, shake it to the floor, basically causing an earthquake experience that collapses the building. So digging deeper into this mini movie, one of the parts of the venue that you see shaking and collapsing particularly was the in-venue restaurant named none other than Betty's Burgers. So there you have it. ACDC, in perhaps one of their least memorable entertainment outputs, were trying to give us a warning of seismic activity was set to destroy a restaurant named Betty's Burgers. I can understand how this was overlooked. Nobody ever remembers the serious things, they remember the memes. Hence why the gods of rock's warning was not heeded by the masses from all that time ago. It makes you wonder what other hidden messages and prophecies exist in ACDC's extensive body of work now spanning 5 decades. I guess we will have to just keep listening, watching, and then listening some more to find out. I, for one, am happy to take on this role for the good of humanity. You can show your appreciation for my service by giving this video a like. Anyway, that's about it for this one. Did you guys miss this serious warning too? See you next time, everyone. Cheers.